This is Dustin.
And I'm Steve. Welcome back to the Wedding Photo Hangover podcast, the finest phototainment in the world. We are an irreverent look at photography. This podcast, like aspirin, will help you recover from your wedding hangover.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dustin, how you doing?
I'm okay. It's been a rough week, but I'm sure everyone's having a rough week, so I'm not going to sit here and complain about my rough week. Trying to pivot, trying to understand where.
But you're currently complaining about it.
No,
just so we're all on the same thing here. You saying I'm not going to complain about it. It's been a rough week. That's you complaining about it.
I'm not going to go into detail about my complaints. I'm going to just like a blanket complaint, like the rest of the world.
Blanket complaint. Life is tough right now.
I have had a few wedding photographers reach out to me asking if we're going to file for unemployment, which is a phrase I never thought I would think. And it seems like several of my colleagues are thinking about that, going down that path, which led me to do a little research and go down that path here in Indiana. And it turns out I may qualify.
Ooh, cool.
So
why is that?
Just simply because they're past a thing where it's allowing self-employed or the gig people to apply for unemployment due to all the work that we lost due to this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's only for like
awesome.
a month. I need to look at what the time frame is. It's from like March 29th to I think the end of April that you can qualify for, but it's retroactive. So it's like once they actually get the process in place for you to sign up for it, they will pay you retroactively from the time the bill was signed.
Yeah. Cool.
I mean, it's only
nice. Like
$600 a week, but
$600 a week could be a lifesaver right now. So
100%. That's like food. Bills, utilities,
food bills, utility bills. Yeah.
But what about you, bud? What have you been doing with all your free time? Redoing your website, writing that book you've been talking about?
Just, spiraling out of control and panic and anxiety. Thought I was doing all right. And then this week, we had 2 August brides contact us to see if they could possibly start a discussion about postponing their weddings till next year. So it's one of those moments where you're just kind of like, is this real life right now? Like August brides now?
Was it because of cost? Because of they didn't think they were going to have the money by then? Or
I think it's because of cost, because I think they might be out of work right now, but I'm not 100% certain about that. So yeah, it's gonna be weird, dude, because
I don't
know what's
June
going on. June weddings haven't canceled yet. So
wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, June weddings think they're gonna go ahead with it so far. So including the one that I booked last week for video only. Wow,
Steve is just a wild stallion.
It's a college friend. He had started talking to me before the whole stay-at-home shelter stuff started, and so he wanted to go with me no matter what.
No matter what,
it was good. Yeah, well, I like to think it's no matter what. I'm sure there's a price point I could have named where he would have said no. Given the times right now, I did cut him a deal. I will say that.
I think you'll have a real easy time finding second shooters.
No, not doing second shooters to that one. That's part of the deal. That's part of why I was able to cut him a deal. It's just going to be so low. Oh, man. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, we lost our June, 27th wedding this week, which we thought for sure that was like one of the only brides we hadn't reached out to. And that's kind of when panic set in for us, because she called us and she's like, yeah, we're pulling the plug. I'm like, oh my God. That's end of June, and she wanted to move it 30 days, and her dad is like an ER doc. And so I was like, what does he know? What's going on? So I'm hoping that works out with when we can do it. I told her that worst case scenario, Corinne and I might have to simply just split up, and I'll shoot a wedding and I might not be at hers. That way she doesn't have to.
You guys would get divorced because of this?
100%.
Yeah. Wow.
That's how much we care about our couples.
Wow. Well, it's good to know. You guys are really dedicated.
Dedicated
Jen and I would not
is
do
our
the
middle.
same.
My middle name is Dedication, Stephen. I think you know that above all.
Dustin Dedication? I thought it was douchebag, but okay, I guess.
That's a French pronunciation. I go with the other one.
So
Dedication.
Let's move out of this depressing talk about what the state of the world's in right now, and let's move on to some follow-up. And I feel kind of crappy about this because I can't remember who sent this to me, but somebody asked what's different about a guest episode when compared to a normal episode on Instagram. And I assume this was asked because we mentioned that guest episodes take more work for us. So Dustin, take it away. Mm-hmm. What is it about a guest episode that makes it take more work? Go for it, bud.
So typically it's a lot more work on my end, preparing the guest, coaching the guest through what expectations would be for an episode, helping them to pick the most perfect marketing material to help us better push out their content into the world, giving them some ideas and strategies on things.
Are these things you're going to start doing?
No, not at all.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Oh. Dustin, what do you actually do when we have a guest on that's outside of the normal?
Typically, I Google them while we're on the episode, just so I can kind of get an idea of who it is.
And... Oh, gosh. I want to believe this isn't true, but I don't know. I really don't know. I know at least when we had Gary Hughes on and Bure Perry, you watched Gary's old workshop that you had bought several years ago and never watched before about headshots.
It's a great workshop. Yeah. Gary was fantastic. One of the very few creative lives I've purchased. But no, guest episodes tend to have a different look and feel. Stephen and I kind of come at it at about, I would say, 75% of what our normal is in terms of the typical WPH brand. Because we like to keep the guest comfortable. Similar to what you'd have if you had a guest over to your home. You wouldn't be your typical crazy, obnoxious, off-the-wall self. You'd tone it down about 25%.
Yeah, definitely. Typically with guest episodes, Dustin and I actually do research into the guests that involves Googling them before we get on.
Where's the fun in that?
I try to read up if they've written anything recently to kind of get a better idea of what their headset's at right now and what they're talking about and curious about. And I also, if they've been on any podcasts recently, I try to listen to those because I don't want to retread ground that they've recently tread with other podcasts. Because if we're just asking
tread
them,
ground, or do you tread water?
Yes, tread air ground, airwave grounds. What do you call audio sound ground? Sound ground. I don't want to tread the same sound ground as other podcasts, just because there's no reason for somebody else to listen to our podcast if they've already heard these things on another podcast
Steve,
recently.
You're telling me there are other podcasts out there?
Yes, I am, Dustin. And then editing just takes a little bit longer because there's more voices. It's harder to isolate people and get everything done. So, but that's the real truth. That's the extra work that goes into guest episodes. It'd be like if you're shooting a wedding and you bring in a new second shooter you've never worked with before, and it's kind of like you gotta work around them not knowing the ins and outs of everything you're doing. That's why it's really nice when we have a guest on who listens to the show, because they're typically a lot easier to
long-time listener Aaron Nace of Flern. Right?
I hate you so much.
Right, great.
And that'll be a cut in the episode.
But not in the live video. Not in the live video.
All right, let's move on to beer.
What are you
talk,
drinking,
buddy.
Steve?
What are you drinking?
No, what are you drinking?
What am I drinking? This week I got a Dragonfly IPA by
Pitch Black?
Upland Brewing.
Yeah. Ooh.
Brought it straight out of the darkness. Dragonfly IPA by Upland Brewing. It's a 6.7% alcohol by volume, 65 IBU. So it's not too bitter, but it's got a little bitter to it, a little bitter hop. It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Indiana beers. It's just something you can drink any day, anytime.
Yeah, I'm just drinking a good old classic, one of my like go-to spring, summer, winter, all around the year beers, which is Fat Tire. It's a New Belgium beer. Just an all-around good beer.
I like New Belgium. I don't know if this is still the case, but when they first got started out, like distributing in our area,
Pretty sure Coors owns them now.
The company was owned by the employees at first. They might have sold out and all the employees got a big payday. That'd be pretty nice. We should sell Wedding Photo Hangover. Let's move on. Let's move on to our topics, Dustin. What do we have first?
Wait, we have a 5-star review, Steve.
No, we do those before Q&A. Move on.
Then why aren't they in that section in the freaking show notes? Who organizes these? Gotta talk to the producer.
The person who organizes everything for this podcast. Let's move on. Come on.
We need to have a meeting with them. You wanted to talk about how the Canon camera company, is that what they make still? Closed their headquarters.
Yeah, let's do it, buddy.
Isn't like everybody closing their headquarters, Steve?
I want to talk about what this might mean for photographers. Is this a big deal, Dustin?
No.
Do you care that Canon closed their headquarters?
I don't.
Does this affect your life at all,
No.
day in, day out?
Not at all.
What might it impact?
What might it impact? It might impact more Zoom meetings among their creative engineering staff. It might impact Canon coming out with maybe some webcams in the next couple months.
Is it going to slow down the release of the new
I hope so.
cameras they're supposed to have come out?
I hope so.
Why? Why would you hope that?
I don't know. Just like any person shooting on a non-Canon brand camera system would hope that they can stay a little bit in the new a little bit longer.
Oh, so you're afraid. You think when the new Canons come out, then all of a sudden your cameras won't be good anymore?
No, mine will still be good. I just won't have...
Sounds like you're saying they won't be good.
I just won't have brides saying like, "Oh, we just met with Joe and Sally Photo, and wow, do you guys have those new Canon cameras like they have?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we say, "No, sir, no, ma'am. We've got these Sony ponies." And then we have a pony that we've been training that kind of walks into our client meeting with all of our gear on its back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's taken quite some time. A lot of hoof marks, if you know what I mean.
I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah, I'd show you, but that's why I have to wear all this paddedness. Not because I'm gaining so much weight on quarantine. It's just layers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that diet going? Still off it?
Oh yeah, way off it.
Mm-hmm.
Way off it. Corinne's been baking a ton. It's bad.
What kind of stuff is she baking?
It's bad.
You keep mentioning she's baking.
Let's see. What did she bake this week? She's baked quite a few brownies. We did some banana bread. We did quite a lot of cookies. And a lot of cinnamon rolls. I'm a huge cinnamon roll fan.
Getting sticky up in there. Getting messy.
She's doing a cheesecake this weekend. First time.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Those take a long time.
Do they? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Never done one.
Are you going to help?
Probably not.
All right. Well, Dustin, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is Instagram influencer scams. Dustin, have you ever gotten
Hold on.
message?
Back that roll up, Stevie Pooh. What, are you like nervous about Canon? I mean, you're like Mr. I don't upgrade for 5 cameras, so I don't see how this would have you in a hurt. But
yeah, totally. It's never worrisome when the camera brand that you use shuts down their headquarters. That doesn't ever worry anyone at all. It never makes you think that maybe there's a chance that the repercussions of what's going on right now hurts that camera brand so much that they end up going out of business. It doesn't make you think about the future at all. I mean, I don't think about that kind of stuff. I don't know why anybody else would.
Right.
Seriously,
Exactly.
I don't think to myself that, if these new Canon mirrorless cameras that are full frame that shoot to 2 cards don't come out, that, Sony just keeps putting more and more distance between themselves and Canon. And then, I have to switch to Sony someday. I certainly don't think about that.
Yo, Steven, you might as well start putting the gear on eBay, buddy. It's not like you're using it right now.
Speaking of Sony, did you see they had a new firmware update that lets you close the shutter while switching lenses?
I did.
Currently, it's only on the A9 II.
I did.
But they just did a firmware update that fixed that, which theoretically means they might be able to do firmware updates that would add that to other cameras?
Well, I guess I was confused because I was under the impression that update was on my camera when we got the cameras, when you and I went to imaging, and I got all my firmware updated on all my cameras. I was under the impression that was one of the things.
I don't know, dude. This is news now, today. I don't make the news. I don't write the news. I just read the news.
Well, because I told the guy when I took them up, and I was like, yeah, it'd be really nice because I'm always getting crap on my sensor. If when I turn the camera off, the shutter thingy mabobber could close.
Did you mabob it?
And he was like, let me take care of that for you. Wink. And
none of this happened. I was standing right there with you.
What do you mean? You were over there talking to Raymond Hatfield.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we don't know.
Ryan
Hatchetfield. Rain Man.
Wow, you're gonna do this again. Wow. Okay, yeah. So
I don't know what's ever been cut from an episode or not, so I don't know if this is even a relevant joke.
Just think to yourself, if this was a joke Steve might have cut, it's probably not good enough to tell again. So, if you think
that's how I live my life, Steve. That is how I live my life. I'm like, would Steve take this wedding? Steve doesn't take weddings. And then I just walk away.
There you go, bud.
Would Steve shoot real estate? No. I better just get out of this game.
Don't look at the Redwood Lane website then.
Oh, is it all filled with pretty real estate pictures?
It's getting there, bud. It's getting there. So let's talk about this Instagram influencer scams.
So Steven has been emailing people trying to be an influencer, and he wants to help you build your influencing profile.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
That's
no,
what this
that's
is
not
about.
what I'm talking about. No, this is so people are getting messages and emails. And what the emails say is, I stumbled across your Instagram and wanted to reach out to you because I think that you would be a great person for our company to partner with.
First mistake. Continue.
What we want to do is we want to have you shoot one of our products for us, and we'll give you a 75% discount off any product that you want from our entire store.
Okay.
All you have to do is shoot the product, then share it to your feed, along with at us, and then at Fashion Week or some other thing that makes it seem like it's a legit thing that's happening. And then they try to get people to buy their gear at this discounted price. So, Dustin, where do you think these people are making money?
By stealing all of your information. Yeah?
No, but that was a great guess. So the person who wrote about this on F-Stoppers did a bunch of research into it and actually found that the specific scammer who reached out to them most recently was trying to get them to purchase bags. And when they looked into those bags cost $dollars on AliExpress. But with the 75% off discount through this company's website, those bags cost $95.
Your feed cut out for a second. What was the price on Alibaba?
AliExpress, it was like $36, and then on their own website with the 75% off discount, $95.
Okay.
So they're making like $60 plus whatever they charge for shipping and handling.
Gotcha. Sounds like a legit business model. I don't know if I'd really call it a scam.
Well, it's a scam because the companies claim to be like these big international brands. This guy was saying specifically, the person who contacted him said they had an office building in the Empire State Building.
Fake it till you make it, Steve. You fake it till you make it.
Office in the Empire State Building. The company was headquartered in New York that they were trying to sell for, and all of it was fake. None of it was true. Just trying to get you to buy their crappy stuff online, and then fill your Instagram feed with their spam, their advertising.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually paying them to advertise for them, and you're not really getting a deal or a discount at all because you can just go on AliExpress and get it.
And that's why
that's where they get it from.
We will be selling Sony Pony t-shirts for $932, but today only you're going to be getting an incredible discount where it's only going to be $25.
So Dustin, now that you're done with that other bad joke that I'll probably cut out of the episode, have you ever seen people promoting stuff like this in their Instagram feeds? People you follow?
No, because I don't really follow anyone on Instagram. I mean, anyone that I don't know personally. I follow a few well-known photographers, but I don't follow influencers or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one quote-unquote influencer I follow, and he's a videographer or influencer turned videographer. And now he's finally starting to like push his presets and custom.
Okay, I'm bored with this. Yeah. So let's move on.
Well, you asked.
You've never talked to anybody who's done this before.
Yeah,
No, you could have just said no and moved on. Instead, you're like, let me talk to you about every single person I follow,
Steve,
and why I follow them.
When you yourself are an influencer, typically you're not following other influencers. You are the influence.
That is not how it works. That is not how it works. Typically, you set up a Finsta to follow all your friends. Duh.
Finsta? What's a Finsta?
Oh my gosh.
Steve, you're much younger than me. I don't understand all of this millennial talk. I do not have time
to teach you Instagram. I do not have time to teach you Instagram. I have too much anxiety and depression. I do not have time to go through this with you. All right.
So Finsta, isn't that like a fake Instagram where you just use that for your friends?
There you go. Wow, it took you 2 seconds to get there.
So much anger in you tonight.
I have seen people falling for these scams, talking about the companies that they're working with and then posting photos of these brands I've never heard of before and nobody else has ever heard of. When you go to their sites, they look a little bit scammy. And it's always just, it doesn't bother me, but I've always just been curious, like, what it is they feel like they're getting out of it, especially when I see, like, wedding photographers doing it, because it's like you're filling your wedding photography feed with stuff, like, that you've paid for. You're just doing, like, a promotional deals with these people. And the way I see it most often is because somebody reaches out to me about one of these deals and I reject it.
Right.
And then I see other people posting about the same deal online. And so it's just, I don't look down on them because I feel like
that helps you sleep.
I feel like, yes. I feel like a lot of people see this as an opportunity and they jump at it, and it's like, well, I was gonna get ice cream, I was gonna get a pillow, I was gonna buy something like this anyway, so why not buy this one and then post something like advertisement wise on my feed, and I'll get it for cheaper than what I would have paid.
Sure.
That's kind of like the thought process I feel like there. And Jen and I, we have worked with a few different companies where we'll do like photos of their products and then include we'll do like a blog post with like a link back to their website,
right.
As a result of like that. But like, okay. In those situations, we don't pay for the product, we don't pay for the shipping, we don't pay for anything. All we do is write a blog post and take some photos. And for us, that feels like it's worth it because the amount of effort we put into it is minimal. And it's just on our blog. It's not like on our Instagram. It's not on our Twitter or our Facebook. And I feel like we get much more traffic on our Instagram and on our Facebook than we do on our blog in the first place. I don't know. Maybe I'm just rationalizing this. Maybe
you are,
but I'm not paying anybody money to be a part of it. Is the thing. Oh, just paying them with my time, my hard-earned time.
Do you want, now that we're done talking about Instagram,
yeah. When was the last time you did something influencer-wise or sponsored-wise or whatever? I know, are you allowed to talk about any of that stuff that you're doing right now?
No, not yet.
No? Okay.
I did get something for free today.
What'd you get?
I can talk about it because I haven't decided if I'm going to do it yet. Whoa. Look at this bad boy. Matterport. Somebody gave me this today.
Some 3D imaging.
Asked me if I would consider doing it, considering we're in this crazy time that we're in, and a lot of real estate agencies are really trying to crack down on the number of people that go in homes.
Yeah, good idea.
So yeah, they gave me that and said, hey, learn this and you can have it.
A real estate company gave it to you?
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
So
that's free stuff I can get behind, bro.
Yeah. The problem is, I don't know if you've ever shot with a Matterport or used or looked at how they work, but they are not easy. I mean, they're not easy, but they're like pretty clunky. Carol, don't get a Sorry, Carol chimed into the live stream saying that she's been looking at getting a Matterport. Don't get a Matterport. So for those out there who are looking, Matterports are about $4,000. Plus Matterport, you have to use their proprietary software with it, which is like insane expensive. So I don't have to pay for any of it because it's through this company. But I'm looking at getting a 360 camera. And you can actually use that with the Matterport software and a bajillion other kinds of 360 and virtual tour softwares. So you won't be as limited. But yeah, so that's been my day, learning how to use this and then hating my life. Because I don't have one. I don't have a great day. Problem is I don't have a tripod like yours that's heavy enough.
Oh yeah, because you invested in really crappy tripods.
Portable, travel-friendly tripods. Yes.
Mm-hmm. You know what the first thing they said to me when I was taking all my video production, shooting, editing classes was to invest your money into really good tripods and not into good cameras, because a good tripod will last you forever, but cameras just come and go. Mm-hmm. They said so it's more important to worry about the stability of your camera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until you're asked to shoot something, then you're like, well, I have great tripods, but it's going to take me 2 to 3 days to get my hands on a camera.
You just rent one.
Exactly.
Ship it out.
Yeah. But no.
How many times did you get called and they're like, can you come shoot something now?
All the time.
Don't lie on this podcast.
All the time.
So
the problem with the Matterport is, and I'd love to have words with whoever designed this thing, but the tripod mount isn't centered.
Oh, why is that a problem for you?
So this spins, and when it scans the room, it rotates 360 degrees or something like that.
That's how many degrees there are in a circle.
Yep.
Good job.
Yeah, it does a circle. I don't get it, but it does. And when it creates the axis where most of its weight's on one side, and there's not tripod legs on my tripod, it kind of, can shift a little bit.
Wait, your tripod doesn't have legs?
My tripod doesn't have legs. Yeah, it does.
You just said there's not tripod weight on my tripod legs.
So there's 3 legs.
Or there's not weight on my tripod legs.
When it's turning and it reaches that weak point,
You need better tripods.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This is not Matterport's fault.
That's what I'm
your
saying.
Fault.
I need a heavier...
You want to have words with the people who designed this because you feel like it's poorly designed, but it's well designed for what it's meant to do. You just have crappy gear.
Well,
you don't get to come on here and complain about people's products.
It's not a piece of gear that I bought.
It's your fault.
But so the reason that a lot of people that do Matterports have switched to the 360 cameras is because they're the size of an iPhone, and you can put them on a monopod, and then there's no spinning. They take one picture, you move it, take a picture, you move it, and you're done. You can do a house or a commercial property in, you know, a third of the time it would take to use a traditional Matterport because there's no scanning element.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Matterport's like 138 megapixels because of the scan, like it's taking multiple pictures. So versus like a 360 camera that's like 18 megapixels, so it's definitely a drop in quality, but I don't think it's a, you know, no, for the amount of work, it's not like a client's going to pay you that much more or less.
Good point. So, Dustin, do you want to talk about this dude 100%. On TikTok?
Do you
have the ability to like play that to the live feed?
Ooh, Stevie. Now you're talking my language. Let's see here.
So while Dustin's trying to figure out if he has the ability to do that, I'm just going to go through. It's the TikTok feed that we posted a few days ago in the Facebook group. It's Alex Dempluski, and basically what he does is he runs up on the street to a bride and a groom and their photographer, and he asks, hey, would it be okay if I took some photos of you in the middle of their wedding portrait shoot? Is that good?
Yeah, that was good. I can't pull the TikTok. TikTok doesn't let me pull the video off their site.
We would have had to. We would have been in trouble.
Yeah, we'd have to legally stolen this
YouTube,
video.
Right, so. Yeah.
So, yeah, let's talk about this. Walk me through, Steven, the controversial elements of this. Obviously, as a wedding photographer, gut feeling is most people are pissed. Most people are like, oh my God, I would probably cut this guy down with machetes if he came at my bride and groom. I assume that's like 90% of like most people's feelings.
Yeah, I think a lot of people talk about their Lord and Savior, and then machetes. Yeah, that's what I typically do. So it makes sense.
But
all about those machetes.
I will say I watched this video at first thinking like, oh man, like this photographer's probably gonna like rip this guy a new one, and then I was like pleasantly surprised at like how well this wedding photographer handled the situation. And then I was
Did he?
I thought he did. He was professional.
Did he?
He was like, hey, like how much time do you need? Are you guys okay with this? Okay, cool.
Is that what passes for professional? Being passive? Is that professional? When I was a child, we were told that there were, 3 different ways you could present yourself to the world. You could be passive, you could be aggressive, or you could be assertive.
Okay.
Passive is where you let other people just kind of like walk all over you, do whatever they want. Aggressive is where you walk all over other people and do whatever you want. Like and assertive is where you voice what you want in this world, and you advocate for yourself and for the things you want out of life.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So where would you feel like this interaction goes? Because I feel like what we see is an aggressive person, Alex Dempluski or whatever his name is.
I would hardly say he was aggressive. I would say he was assertive.
Approaching a couple.
Yeah.
Who's getting married
See, I think it's easy, though, for you to make the assumption that he's aggressive because you are an introverted person. So anybody that would go out of their way to make a project about photographing strangers to someone like you would be like unheard of. You'd be like, no,
that'd be fine with me. If people want to photograph strangers, that's completely and totally fine. It's when somebody else is being paid as a professional to photograph people, and you jump in and you're like, hey, I see you're working. Let me derail your work. That's where I take issue. That's an aggressive move. That's not assertive anymore. Chasing them down and saying, hey, I'm a famous TikTok photographer.
I know. I like how he says it.
You know how you TikTok,
maybe you've seen me on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then
he's an aggressive douchebag.
I would be like, TikTok. No, I think I had one of those right before the wedding. Like one of the yellow ones. Oh no, ma'am, that's a Tic-Tac. This is TikTok. It's a social revolution with video and movement. Oh no.
Tic-Tacs were very much a social revolution too.
That's how I feel.
Breath smelling good when you're talking to other people. Yeah,
smell it.
So
it's good, right? It's good. Thank you.
It smells minty fresh.
So for the record, Steve would shut this guy down. He'd shut him down so
hardcore shut him down.
Can I ask why? So like, what is your reasoning for shutting him down?
One,
because I
saw the photos at the end of his TikTok. They're not good. They're pretty shitty.
I thought they were okay. For 2 minutes worth of time.
For 2 minutes worth of time, when he went and added there are
a lot of filters,
green and orange,
a lot of filters going on.
It's so bad. It's so over processed.
But it's like a TikTok thing. Like it's not like I made this for your wedding album.
TikTok is for the video, and he actually says at the end of his TikTok, he just made something those people will treasure for the rest of their lives because he's going to send the photos to them. Do you see why this is bad now? Let's imagine you're shooting a wedding and somebody just comes in with a camera and they just start shooting photos, and then they're like, hey.
Happens to me all the time.
I'm going to deliver these photos now to the bride and groom. And they come with you on your portrait session when you're alone with the bride and groom, shooting in places you've picked out. And they're like, hey, I am now going to shoot in these places you picked out with your bride and groom, taking time away from you. And then I'm going to deliver them this thing for free that they paid you to do.
Sure.
And also, I'm going to deliver shitty photos. I cannot get over how bad the photos were.
I didn't think they were that bad. But,
it looked like your work.
Exactly. Not that bad. Not that bad.
Dustin, you shoot so much better than that. You do.
I wish I could do flare that well.
Oh, gosh.
But
obviously added in post.
Oh, obviously, 100%.
Shitty orange and teal.
Probably not even it's probably like an iPhone app that he did it in.
Probably shot straight to his iPhone. That's right.
100%. But I don't know. My first, my gut instinct would have been like, no, I would have shut this down.
Because that's what you should do as a professional.
But then I'm stopping. Okay. I'm realizing, my feeling is probably the mass populace's feeling. But then I'm like, I don't know, is that just my pride speaking? Is that my pride?
Your feeling is not the mass populace's feeling, because this guy has 5 million likes on this.
Mm-hmm.
5 million likes. The mass populace's feeling is that this is okay to disrupt somebody while they're working. Imagine this. You're the celebrant. You're up there. You're talking. This is what I said to Josh Withers when he commented on this, saying he didn't think it was that bad. You're up there. You're talking. You're giving, your service or whatever. And then somebody else just walks up and like, hey, in the middle of you doing, your job, can I just have 5 minutes? I'm a TikTok celebrant. I want to step up here. I want to do, 5 minutes. Just, this is kind of my thing. Can we take a moment to look at my TikToks to make sure that the bride and the groom think it's okay? Can you imagine that happening? No, you can't. Can you imagine you're a construction worker and, you're out there working with a hammer. and some random dude off the street comes up. You know, he's got a shirt, a tie, not dressed for construction, and he's like, "Hey, can I just take that hammer for like just 5 minutes? I'm a TikTok hammer guy.
2 minutes.
Look at my TikToks, and I'm gonna jump in there and I'm gonna hammer some stuff at this construction site." No, there is
absolutely
no one in the world who
construction guy was like, "No, please take the day. Take the day. Just get this whole wall done right here. I'm gonna go grab some coffee."
This is when I wish we could just like call somebody into this one and just be like, "Hey, can you just take over the podcast for 5 minutes?"
Yeah. I'm on TikTok
right now.
I'm on TikTok. I just want to jump in 5 minutes, show you. Here's my feed. So, I'm definitely...
It's an aggressive waste of time. If he was a photographer, if he knows what goes on at a shoot, he should know. He should not be walking up and asking if he can shoot.
I'm definitely going to be doing this in June when I've got no weddings. I'm going to go find some weddings that were like diehards and they're still happening. And I'm going to be like, yo.
Tombstones? Is that what I'm hearing?
I have an Instagram account. I don't have a TikTok, but I have an Instagram account. See these? Look at these. I don't know what's on here because I don't control my own Instagram account, but there's pictures. These pictures could have been you if you had hired me, but my bride is now getting married next June.
That's the other thing. It's like, it's so aggressive because it's like in your face and it's like, look how good my photos are. Don't you wish I was doing photos of you right now instead of your photographer who you hired to do the photos of you? Like that's the feel behind this whole thing. And the photos are shitty. It's just like you can't get away from how shitty the photos are.
Photos. You can't fast forward in a TikTok.
You can't fast forward in a TikTok.
Never mind. Oh, all right, I'm done with this topic. It's exhausting.
Why? You don't like talking about this topic with me?
No, Steve, because you're very one-sided.
Aggressive?
You're very one-sided. You're very aggressive. You're just as bad as Alex. Mm-hmm. You just want to bully your opinion through to the masses. When I'm just trying to see all sides of this equation.
I saw all sides. I just know which side is the right side.
Steve,
that's what it is.
Can we reach out to the original photographer for this couple and have him on this show?
Yeah, go ahead. Reach out to him, bud.
Okay.
He seems like a pretty nice guy.
I'm sure he won't say no.
So. Oh, am I reaching out? Is that what you're getting at?
No.
He's the aggressive person to reach out? Am I the aggressive one on this podcast?
Your words, not mine.
Advocate for yourself, people. Advocate for yourself. Dustin, do you want to do one of these fake mail things? One of these anonymous mail things?
Sure.
They all have names. We just can't actually figure out if they're real or not. Dustin.
I'm picking. I want to pick.
Pick one. Yeah. Go for it.
Thick stick. Yeah, that's the one I'm picking. Thick stick. Yeeted my camera. A groomsman threatened to yeet my camera out the window if I didn't stop taking photos of the groomsmen getting ready.
Whoa, stop. Do you know what yeet means?
No idea.
Okay, cool. Okay, now continue. You'll figure it out in this next few lines.
Now I have to start over. You totally derailed my train of thought. I have to get back into the mind of Thick Stick. All right, ready? A groomsman threatened to yeet my camera out the window if I didn't stop taking photos of the groomsmen getting ready. It's my job, though, so I kept shooting. He grabbed my camera and threw it out the window. WTF do I do now?
Did have to look this word up, and it does on Urban Dictionary. It says to discard an item at a high velocity, not like chuck it or throw it out. It's just to discard an item at a high velocity.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a great way to describe yeet.
Yeah, where does that word come from?
No idea. No idea, dude. That's what the kids say, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I guess.
We're not kids.
We
Did I tell
are
you?
the
So there's like a new thing with our our hosting site where they will show us the demographics of the people who listen to our podcast. So we host through Anchor, and because Anchor is a part of Spotify, they will just let you see what percentage of like your listeners fall into which age ranges. Dustin, where do you really think our age range is?
50
0 to 17 is one age group, and it's like 18 to 21 or 23, then like 23 to 29, and then like 30 to 34.
Let's say like 50 on up.
50 on up. According to Spotify,
maturity level has to be able to grasp us.
95% of our listeners, according to Spotify, are between 18 and 34.
They need to break that down further.
So people like me, 35-year-olds,
so
they only make up 5% of the audience.
So next year, you'll be out of that demo, right?
I'm already out of the demo. The demo stops at 34. I'm already an old man.
Wow. You're not even a listener of our podcast anymore, Steve. You're what we call an outlier.
Yeah. That's an outlier. That's right. All right, Dustin, what do you do if somebody yeets your camera?
Probably yeet them.
You just pick them up and check them out the window? Got it.
That's what I do.
Dustin, that's an aggressive move. Are you sure you wouldn't just say no and walk away?
I used to be a all-star wrestler in high school, Steve, so I know my fair share of yeeting moves.
Oh, I know you're an all-star wrestler. Yeah, you're checking me down a few times. Wink. All right, bud. Let's do a 5-star review, then we'll do some Q&A.
5 stars, Stevie. Oh, I see you organized the show notes.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's always been organized. I definitely didn't do that after you yelled at me on the podcast.
Am I reading this or you?
I thought you always read them. I thought that was your job.
I would love to. I feel honored to read the 5-star reviews. They literally make my week. All right. This is from Corinne and Ryan. Corinne is spelled wrong.
Wait, stop real quick. Stephen Nichols in the chat for the live episode says if somebody yeeted his camera, he'd skeet on them. So.
Ooh, the old skeet yeet.
Well, yeah, they yeet your camera out the window and you skeet to the wall with them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Corinne and Ryan Priest. Let's do this. 5-star.
5-star review time. Corinne and Ryan Priest, and Corinne, of course, is spelled wrong, but we don't hold that against her.
Wow, you're going to say that about one of our listeners just because their name is spelled different than your wife's name.
Right, I just said it was spelled wrong. I didn't say it was spelled different.
Okay, yeah, no, if that's how you want to play it.
Corinne and Ryan Priest, best photography podcast. My husband and I run an elopement photography business based in Hawaii. We absolutely love this podcast because it really feels like a community. We love listening to these podcasts while we're editing at home, and we highly recommend this podcast to any and every photographer out there. So can we break this review down? Are we allowed to do that, Steve?
Yeah, let's do it, buddy.
I want to just say...
I was surprised you didn't use one of your goofy voices like usual. I thought that's why people like to hear you talk about...
Corinne and Ryan seem like nice people. I didn't want to belittle their Hawaiian accents because I don't have one.
Oh, no, let's do a Hawaiian accent. Let's go ahead. Come on, bud.
I think I'm still feeling a little ashamed of post-Trump accent.
Give me your best aloha. Come on, bud.
I just want to say, Corinne and Ryan, you say that this podcast you love because it feels like a community. I just want to take a second to say, it doesn't feel like a community, guys. This is a community. There's no... this is a reality of this podcast.
That's what you wanted to say.
I'm just saying, I've never been a part of a Facebook group of the level and magnitude that our Facebook group has come to. It's something that I know Steven and I are very proud of, being a part of you guys. I mean, you guys are really what make us come back to doing this day after day.
Dustin and I are super excited that we get to be inside all of you.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Aloha! Is that good?
I'm sorry. No, I cut off your heartfelt thing. Go back. Come on. Tug at my heartstrings. Make me cry, buddy. Come on.
Aloha?
I'm sorry. What? What did you just do?
I was trying to tug my heartstrings.
I don't think that's what you were tugging. All right. Let's fun Q&A.
Oh, you want to take the first one?
Yeah. Anna Maria Ivanova Reed from our very own Facebook group says, I have a question for you guys. I've been feeling torn on how to write my social media captions lately. I don't want every single post to be negative in talking about the virus, but I also don't want it to seem like I'm taking the situation too lightly and pretending like nothing is happening. What are your thoughts on this? I've literally resorted at this point to just putting emojis on my captions on some Instagram posts because I don't know what to say.
This is a great question. Something Corinne and I have been struggling with personally. Mainly, we've been dealing with our own fair share of personal stuff in relationship to this virus. And every few days seems to add something to that list. And so it's really hindered us from knowing what to post and knowing what people want to see and what people want to hear and what we want to add to that conversation or add to that dialogue. I'm hoping next week we can kind of jump in. But as of now, just as far as Instagram is concerned, we're just peppering it with pretty pictures and just saying things like, we can't wait till we can take pictures again, or can't wait till this bride's wedding, hope it happens. No, we don't say that last part.
So you're just sounding desperate on Instagram. Okay.
Desperation sells.
Just sound desperate, yeah.
Hope this bride's wedding still happens. I hope I shot a house last week. A little off topic here. Shot a house last week, and their wedding was supposed to be this May. They bought a house together pre-wedding, like a lot of couples do. Wedding gets called off due to this coronavirus, and they just decide we're just not going to do it. We're breaking up. Game over. And I'm like,
what?
I'm like, whoa. Not my couple. But thankfully, I was able to get paid to shoot their home because now they're getting, separated and they can't afford the house separate. So, win for me.
Wow, that's your takeaway. Thankfully, win for Dustin. They're getting divorced.
Not divorced. They weren't together.
Separated, yeah.
So at least they figured it out. At least they thought, one of them took this as like a divine sign that like maybe this wasn't meant to be, maybe I was settling. It's a great house though. It's a fantastic house.
Maybe they could have got a better house with somebody else.
Oh, 5 acres. 5 acres.
Anna Maria, this has been super hard for me too. It's hard to know what to say at a time like this. It's also hard because we're just not shooting anymore right now. So it's like all the content we have to put out is now old content. So it's difficult to know what to post. And it's like everything I write seems like typically I'd write fluffy stuff, kind of like love watching the bride with her mother getting dressed on the wedding day. It's such a special moment, something like that. And now it's like if you write something like that, it's like, oh, this dude's super hard up for shooting a wedding again. Everything comes off with kind of this I wish we could get back to normal sort of vibe with it. So I feel like the best thing to do is just to say, things aren't normal right now. And I'm just going to do whatever I want. I'm going to do whatever makes me feel good. That's why starting tomorrow, I'm starting the Steve Van Elk selfie No.
Ooh. Makeup and nails by Nora.
Yep, every single day. New selfie with makeup and nails by Nora.
Do you guys find that you bring in more couples from those kind of Instagram stories?
No. Not at all.
Just curious if you ever got a client or a bride who's like, so we really want you and Jen to shoot our wedding. But can we just talk to you a minute about having Nora do the makeup?
Yeah. Jen gets a lot of like messages. She told me where people are like, "Hey, I keep seeing these things Steve's doing with your daughter, and I just wanted to let you know
I'm
it's
here
still
if
not
you need some."
humanizing him.
It's still not humanizing.
I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to humanize him, but he still comes off as robotic, cold, and distant. So it's not working. So
Yeah, I kind of
I don't know.
imagine.
I guess I got to try a new tact or something. I'm not certain.
It's sort of like Lost in Space, and like you're the robot, and like the little boy is like putting clothes on you and putting makeup on you, trying to humanize you, but at the end of the day, still the robot. Even though you'll always be part of the Robinson family, just
the part that if
you still sleep outside,
one little circuit gets flipped the wrong way,
your eyes turn red and you kill them all. Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Yeah, totally normal for a dad.
Maya from a random Facebook group asked.
Hold up, Aldrich Mintz actually asked in the chat.
Ooh.
He asked if we've seen people doing FaceTime sessions where they are literally taking screenshots of a FaceTime call and editing the screen grabs.
No. Next question.
You haven't seen that, bud?
Like I said, not been super active in the socials. We've had our own stuff going on, so I haven't had too much time to get down with all of the creative juices of all these people that are locked in. Plus, I've still been shooting.
Yeah, no. So I think I saw. I think it might have been Chase Jarvis who was doing this, and I think one of our listeners, I think it might have been Stephanie Sanju, actually had like a FaceTime session photo done by him.
I have seen the thing with the like front porch sessions.
No, those are terrible. Don't do them. Don't leave your house. Stay home, everyone.
Yeah. So,
did you need me to say anything else on that subject?
Nope.
Stay home. FaceTime sessions are better. I don't know. I think I talked about this kind of joking around.
Can you charge for them?
Definitely. I think I kind of... Did we talk about this in the Patreon? I think I might have joked around about this, but something you could do since photographers are direct-to-consumer...
You did joke about
Yeah.
this.
Something a photographer could do as a direct-to-consumer business, you could do sessions with your clients where you FaceTime with them and you tell them how to pose their subjects.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's like parents trying to get photos of their kids, tell them how to pose their subjects, and then have them take the photos while you like FaceTime in from like a second phone or from a laptop or something, so they can get photos. And that way, like you would be coaching them through it. The problem there is then you're training your clients to do shoots without you. But I think a lot of them would really like that right now. They'd really enjoy it. And the reason I was thinking about it was Jen had a newborn shoot.
And she was coaching
like
her
right
how
when
to
the
do
pandemic. No, it's like right when the pandemic first hit, and it was before they put up like the non-essential business things and everything. And she tried to talk them out of doing it just in case, because we didn't know if we were possibly sick at the time or not, because the 2-week things. And it's been more than 2 weeks since then, so we know that we're not sick and they're not sick and we're all good.
Are you?
But yeah, there was a little bit of like worry there, and like that's kind of like where the whole idea came from, because you could talk like a new dad or new mom through shooting photos of their newborn. It would not be fun and it would take a lot of time, but that is something you could do and something people might actually pay you to do as a direct to consumer type business.
Yeah.
Just trying to think outside the box here and trying to, make our Patreon less valuable by taking things I said there into that.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Now there's no need for Patreon.
Well, in the Patreon version, I was much more jokey about it, and it was a lot more fun.
Were you? It sounded serious. I've started doing it. Haven't booked any sessions, but...
I'm offering it. Maya from a random Facebook group says, I swapped SD cards with a local photographer. She snapped the pictures and I edited. I want to credit her for taking the pictures, but we have different editing styles. So I'm sure she doesn't want people thinking she edited them either. And also, I want people to know I edited them. LOL. when I post, do I just say photo credit, photog name, edited by me, or does that sound silly?
I've seen this before with photographers who do like family photo swaps, and then they'll edit their own. And I've seen them post like, you know, photo by such and such, edited by me. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
Doesn't bother me. I don't feel like it's that silly.
I think what you're trying to do, I never looked at it like you were trying to take credit for the editing as much as you were just trying to make sure that somebody, you know, the other photographer wasn't being looked at like, oh, that doesn't look like their editing style.
I think there's like two ways to approach this. One is you're such a shitty editor that the other photographer won't want people to think they edited these photos. And so they won't want to be credited in it, right?
Right.
And the other way to look at it is the other photographer is such a terrible editor and you're so much better than them, you don't want people thinking they edited the photos.
That is an interesting conundrum.
So I guess, Maya, the real question is, why did you do a photo SD card swap with such a shitty photographer?
Right.
In the first place, you know?
So that's why
I'm just throwing that out there.
That's why no matter who takes our photos, I typically write, you know, photo taken and edited by Stephen Van Elk. Just blanket. If it's good,
blanket
bad.
Statement. And I can assure you guys, I've gotten zero business from that. So whatever
it doesn't
he's doing,
matter.
it's working.
It doesn't matter.
Georgina from a random Facebook group says, morning.
I have an influencer
who wants me to shoot her engagement. She has a following of 100,000. What should I ask for / be expecting in return in terms of promotion for shooting her engagement session for free? I want to get some idea of where I should start the negotiations. The shoot will be on and around a private jet in the snow on a private airfield, so will be amazing portfolio-wise. I tend to think with my artist brain, and I don't have a very good business brain.
Yeah, like totally.
Georgina, yeah, you have a terrible business brain. Why are you doing this engagement session for free?
Georgina, this is very simple. When doing trades with influencers, simply say, I'm only expecting all 100,000 of your followers to come over to me.
Wait, what?
Follower for photos.
Okay. I'd say if we're doing real advice, would be
that is real advice.
Not what Dustin said.
That's 100% real advice.
Yeah, real advice from me. Real advice from me for every single thing we answer is not what Dustin said.
Yeah. So if she has 100,000 followers, I expect before the shoot even starts that I will have 100,000 plus whatever followers I already have. Let's say 10. So it'll be 100,010 followers.
Okay.
Or you could turn it and you could say, how about this? I'm going to do this shoot for free because you are an influencer and I want you to get them likes. All I need in return is you to pay me $1 for every like you get on each photo you post. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea. That would never work.
I just need a credit card up front.
Situation.
Credit card up front, authorization signed, and I will follow you on Instagram whenever you post something.
These are bad ideas, Dustin.
This will encourage me to take amazing photos for you. You get 1,000 likes. I was just picturing the conversation, though, Stephen, where all of a sudden her likes take a big downward turn whenever she posts the photos. And she's like, yeah, these ones, I don't know, the bots didn't like these. I don't know what's going on.
The bots that I paid for didn't like these ones.
There's only 30 likes.
I must have forgot to boost that post.
Unfortunate.
Georgina, why don't you charge the influencer your normal rate and just say, hey, if you are having trouble paying me, here's what you can do. Maybe wear some clothes that a company needs you to advertise so you get paid for the shoot and you can pay me.
Boom.
I don't understand why, like, influencers make money by taking photos with products. Tell them to get some products in the engagement session so they make money off the engagement photos,
right?
So they can pay you. Make it happen, Georgina. Don't do the shoot for free. Don't ever do a shoot for free. 100,000 bots following somebody on Instagram? I mean, if somebody wants free work, they better have at least 500,000
bots.
James
Kelly from our very own Facebook group asked the following. So, for 2020, I'm thinking of sending a little gift to all the clients who booked. Anyone else do this? If so, what are you giving them?
Oh, James.
Autograph picture of James Kelly. That's what I'm giving them. James, I'm signing them on your behalf. I hope that's okay.
I'm not giving gifts to anyone. It's 2020. The world is shut down. You expect me to send out gifts when I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make it through the year right now? Come on, James. Come on. We don't even know if we're going to be able to shoot in July, James. When did you ask this question? 2019? He did.
Don't help James.
I'm not helping James. You should be ashamed. You should have seen this coming.
He should have seen this coming. Get
your fortune teller on the line, James. Get things sorted.
Get pandemic advised.
Yeah.
You know, how like we have a financial advisor? I have a pandemic advisor. Keeps me posted on all things pandemica.
Mm-hmm. Kenzie Ray McWillan in the chat says she still sent gifts to all of her brides who had to reschedule. And Gary Harfield says he gives puzzle keychains as gifts.
Only to book couples. Only to couples who have booked, he said.
Yes. Kenzie, I think that's super sweet that you still gave gifts to all the brides who had to reschedule.
What Kenzie sends, though, she didn't say this. She sends a picture of what was her schedule, and then it's a heart that's broken. That she painted. She painted that. It's like a little ornament.
There are smaller hearts that aren't broken around all the dates she's still available to shoot their postponed wedding.
Yeah, through Greetable. She uses Greetable. I hope you're using our code, Kenzie.
I don't think that still works, bud. That was a long time ago when Greetable did that with us. Aldrich Mintz from our very own Facebook group asks, so a new venue is planning to open in my area, and a planner that I have a great relationship with and we're planning a styled shoot for the venue so they have materials to market for weddings. Well, today she told me she was planning to, or wanted to, invite another photographer that is my direct competition. Price, not style, but the selection here is few. She said she wanted to run it by me first. What would you do?
It's very hard to read these when you make them dark pink.
What would you do, Dustin? Were you not listening when I read the question?
I wasn't. I was focused in on Kenzie and my disgust for how our Greetable code no longer works. And I was feeling awful and bad and confused and alone. And a little sad, Steve. I'm feeling a little sad. Because now I've got to reach out to Greetable. I got to get that code to work again.
Okay. Dustin.
Yeah,
Come on, let's get back to it. We got money to make here. What would you do if your son was at home crying all alone on the bedroom floor because he's hungry? And the only way to feed him was to sleep with a man for a little bit of money, and his daddy's gone.
What?
Some are smoking rock now, in and out of lockdown. I ain't got a job now.
This is Aldrich's question?
So for you, this is just a good time, but for me, this is what I call life.
Okay. That's going to do it for us here at the Wedding Photo Hangover podcast.
Aldrich's question is about a new venue. He planned a styled shoot for the venue with a wedding planner.
Sure.
Then the wedding planner invited another photographer to come to the shoot and said she wanted to run it by Aldrich first. What would he do? What should he do?
Mm-hmm. He should say no.
Why is that?
because
Why's that? I thought a good photographer, when confronted by somebody who wanted something different than them, just, agreed to do whatever, because that's what nice guys do. That's what you told me earlier in the episode when it was the TikTok man.
The TikTok man. No, because what Aldrich's trying to do is he's trying to, A, build a relationship with his venue, B, create marketing material that this venue will use to then also benefit Aldrich by marketing himself. And then he's also creating a lot of buzz between that relationship. So by inviting another photographer in at the 11th hour, that's no bueno.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Aldrich wants to turn this into some sort of paid styled workshop thing where, people can come in and he teaches and they pay money and then he makes some moolah cashola, then I'd be all about that.
Aldrich, if you haven't already solved this problem by now, because I assume this happened a long time ago before the pandemic shut everything down, this is what I would say to you, Aldrich. Ask the wedding planner if it's cool if you just invite another wedding planner in.
Hey!
Just want to create a little bit more buzz,
just want a little bit more jovial.
Get a different style on the day, You just need to get something out there, That's all.
Yeah.
And if the wedding planner's cool with that, then you're cool with the photographer coming on.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Maybe
good advice.
You could bring in another florist, another furniture company, another. I guess actually this other photographer could just bring in the other planner and the other florist and the other stylist. The other photographer could actually do some work, because what's really happening is that another photographer is trying to just breeze into town and take all your work, your hard work that you did. They're just going to ride your coattails, and then they're going to slingshot you Ricky Bobby style past you right before the finish line.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I guess what I would say to him, Aldrich, as soon as they showed up, if you allowed this to happen, is I'd say, by the way, you're shooting video, right? Boom. Mic drop.
Wait until they get there. Be like, you're shooting video, right? Because I have exclusive photo rights to this entire thing. So. Aldrich just chimed in. He said, "Oh, don't worry, it got canceled this month. She said she was thinking more photos the better, but I understand." So I'm assuming it got canceled because of the pandemic, and not it got canceled because Aldrich pushed back and said no about the photos.
And now the venue no longer exists because of Aldrich.
No, the venue no longer exists because of the pandemic. It was a new venue. They hadn't made any money yet. Now they're still not making money, but they have to pay money for the loans I assume they took out to create the venue and everything. Yeah, this is going to screw over a lot of companies.
Yeah, how many venues do you think won't survive this?
I saw a restaurant that opened up in Noblesville the week before the pandemic hit, and all I can think is, they're going to be gone. There's no way
there's a bar. There's
exists.
A bar down the street that I was looking forward to taking you to. It hasn't opened yet, but it was being renovated, called Books and Brews, and it's one of those. I think they have them near you or around you.
Did you say Books and Brews?
Yeah, or Brews and Books.
I'm Mug Club at Books and Brews, right?
I did not know that, but they're opening one down the street from our house.
Dustin, Morgan Roberts says he's wondering if he should go outside. Should he go outside?
You should go outside, hail a taxi, go to the airport, and come visit us, Morgan. Flights are really cheap right now. Really cheap.
As long as the LTE on your phone works really good, and you can keep on this live feed on the way to the airport and on the plane. Don't turn it off on the plane.
Yeah. Sound good?
Ooh, man. Louis Novak just chimed in and said he hears that 1 in 3 restaurants are going to close in Ohio after all of this is over. That is some depressing news. All right. I think that's going to do it for us. Phantom producer Louis Novak did not kill the episode, but we are wrapping up. We do need to be done. Get a Matterport. That is going to do it for us this week here on the Wedding Photo Hangover. Thanks for listening. If you love the show, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you want to connect, we're at Wedding Photo Hangover on Instagram. Dustin, my man, is at Dustin_McKibben. And I'm at Stephen Van Elk. we have an awesome Facebook group you should join. Just search for Wedding Hangover. It's where we do the videos, the live videos when we're recording.
This is live?
Now, you're the one who made it live.
That's right, I did.
I lost my place in the read. Wow, I don't have it memorized. If you want more content, head over to Patreon by going to StephenDustinSaveTheWorld.com or Patreon.com/WPH. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time your head is pounding, your limbs feel like dead weight, and your entire being aches for the sweet embrace of death. That's right, next week, after you shoot another wedding.
You're not, though. You're not going to.
Oh, man. Oh, Dustin. Killing me.
Sorry, man. It's just not going to happen.
Man, Dustin, what it is, what it good, what it good,
what it is, what it do. Exciting news, listeners of the show, because I think this episode is coming out this weekend-ish, sometime in the near future. Next week, we are going to have Honeybook on the show. So if you guys have any questions...
Wait, whoa, time out. What did you just say?
We are going to have the Book of Honey on our show. So if you guys have any questions for them, feel free to shoot them over to us.
Oh, did somebody finally get their affiliate link? Is that what's going on here?
I cannot confirm nor deny, but... Honeybook is coming on the show, buddy.
Oh, gosh. All right. I asked you what things you love in life.
I love Honeybook. Honeybook, I love it. Better. I love
Honeybook. Making what part of your life better right now?
They released a bunch of free templates and things to add to your contracts in relationship to what's going on with the COVID-19 stuff. So to better help you navigate it. We'll talk more about this, I'm sure, next week. But yeah, super helpful, because I was like, I don't know what to add to these contracts, because we have specific brides and grooms who are wanting things added in case they have to reschedule. And I'm not a lawyer, even though I pretend to be one sometimes. But yeah, they rolled these out. They were written by lawyers for us photographers, free of charge. But
are you done with your shameless promotion?
Shameless promotion.
Yeah.
What's up with you, Steve?
What have you been done? Honeybooking us, as Louis Novak.
I'm honey badgering us.
So good right now.
I've been trying to get into Ozark season 3. That's what I've been trying to do. But I've
still can't get there.
I've been so damn busy. It's not a show that you can watch while you're editing. I'm currently shooting a ton of video, and I can't watch TV while I edit video.
That is true.
So
I thought you had a guy for the video edits.
Luke's been helping me out a ton with the real estate side of stuff, but I shot a political thing last week from the front porch. The candidate sat on the front porch, and I filmed her from the street. Felt like super awkward. But
yes, it should. Yeah.
But we have our Indiana primary, or I get these confused. General primary. What's coming up in May?
Is it going to happen? Do we get to vote anymore?
I don't know.
It's Biden and Trump, so there's no reason.
Right. Well, this is somebody running for local office.
Oh, okay.
But I was filming a little promo video for her.
Cool.
So I got to cut it down. Make it look like it was shot with 2 cameras when I shot it with 1.
Sounds good.
But yeah, what are you up to, buddy? Are you doing any work at all? I mean, in terms of
editing for clients, still culling weddings. Still, Jen's doing most of the editing. I do the culling. It's been good. It's been awesome that there are still some clients out there who can send us more work. So really, really super thankful for that.
But you haven't gotten into the door dashing or the Uber Eats or any of that?
Not yet, no.
I talked to a photographer yesterday who started doing DoorDash. I think that's what it's called.
DoorDash won't accept me. They said they already had too many applicants in my area. So
really?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, he signed up, got right in. And it's been cool because he's been like documenting the journey on social media. and like posting like the various like accessories that make it like helpful, and like the pitfalls that he didn't realize. But yeah, I've been kind of like treating it like reality TV, because it's like somebody, you know, they're obviously only going to do this short term. They're doing this to make some extra scratch. He's been like super transparent about like how much he's making, how long he's working, and just like documenting the whole thing on social media. But it's been like he's been making upwards of like $26 an hour, he said.
Nice.
Doing it. And yeah, the only thing that's killing him is it's like Uber, where if you get bad reviews, it like lessens you from getting, you know, called upon to dash. But people, like, if they don't like their food, they're complaining on the app. But even though he has no, you know, ability to make their food better or worse.
Especially, yeah. I mean, like, you never did as a driver for either one of those things, but especially right now where it's like, we were at McDonald's the other day, and like they just have like the Uber like things that are coming to get picked up there, like they're in big bags, like brown paper bags, and they're just stapled at the top. So it's like you have no, and I don't think you were ever supposed to be able to check to make sure they had given you the right food or anything.
And that's what he said, you can't check the food. So
it's like you have no ability to impact what gets to that person's home. You're literally just like a middle person. But if they have any complaint with the restaurant or the food that they got sent to them, like, where do they complain about that? The only place to complain is DoorDash or Uber or whatever. So it's a rough spot to be in.
Yeah, they definitely need to figure out a way to refine the app where you can like complain about one or the other, and not, you know, it all being lumped together and then judging you based on that thing. Yeah. So, but
Dustin, Jen and I watched the Schitt's Creek finale this week.
I'm so far behind. I'm not even through season 1.
So good. Might be one of my favorite comedies of all time. Just amazing. Really? Yeah, dude. It's like, it's one of those things. It's kind of like Parks and Rec, or mostly just like Parks and Rec, where it's like a comedy that's like funny, but somehow like you really care about all the people. And you really care about them, and like you see real growth and development in all the characters throughout the whole thing. You know, it's not like a Seinfeld where they end up at the same place where they started out, and they're all terrible people at the end. And Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows, you know, comedy wise of all time too. But
it shows.
It feels like me. But no, so that was great. And then so this year's kind of a bummer because I was really excited about going to see Josh Ritter this year. He's one of my favorite musical artists. And I was also really excited, Phantom Planet, one of my favorite bands, they've been broken up for a while, and then they were getting back together and doing like a reunion tour. They're going to release like a new album, like a reunion album as well. And so obviously those things aren't happening now. But like today, Phantom Planet put out video on their YouTube of somebody singing In Our Darkest Hour, but they changed the lyrics to be fitting to like what's going on in the world right now, and it's really good. And then like Josh Ritter, every Tuesday night he's calling them the Silo Sessions, and he just sits down with a guitar and he puts on like a live show for like an hour, and like you can jump in and you can Venmo or PayPal money to him, and then he donates it all to different organizations in New York because that's where he lives. But like, I think he was like doing like the women's shelter or something like that the first week, and the second week was like a food bank or something.
I think so. The fourth week was the wedding photo hangover.
That'd be great. Yeah, no. We could use some money right now. All these weddings getting canceled. But yeah, so he's doing that, and like people who send in money, I think are allowed to, like, depending on how much they send, maybe make requests for songs and stuff like that. So it's been really cool watching those, like just hearing him alone on an acoustic guitar, just playing songs in his living room. It's been awesome.
Maybe we just need to start doing that, Steve. Little jam sessions.
Yeah, no, Jen's learning how to play the uke, so uking it up.
Uking it up. Not eating it up.
No, ukulele.
Got it.
Yeah.
See, I've got this super... I'm okay. Got this super, like, futuristic guitar. It's one of those newfound, like, digital ones.
If you're expecting me to like go in and add in guitar sounds, that's not gonna happen. Just so you know, Dustin's holding a plastic stand that I assume you put like a plaque in, a humanitarian award saying like Dustin is a good person or something like that.
Use it to really capture that, flair.
I don't know what you're doing because I'm the only one who can see your Skype camera, and we're doing a live feed, and you're doing that to your Sony camera. So,
yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I think we're gonna call it a night. We still got to record some stuff for the Patreon. So, have a great night, everybody. And I'm sorry that it sounds like my voice is going now.
Have you been smoking again?
How else are we getting through these times?
Can't afford cigarettes, so I don't know.
Dustin, just say goodnight.
Good night.
Say goodnight and then
good
turn
night.
it off. Let's.
Steve, good night. Steven. Good night.
Oh my God, I'm gonna kill someone.
Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in.
Oh, it's still going. Wedding Photo Hangover was edited this week by Steve Van Elk of Bespoke Tone. Go to Bespoke Tone for all of your photo, video, and audio editing needs. Woo-wee!